This is the warm-up pre-broadcast for Sunday live. Just making sure everything is working. So when I move into position, crack my finger inside the desk here. Uh, get my chair comfortable. There we go. Fix my shirt. Let's make sure my sound is working. Okay. Great. All right. So testing, testing, testing. Sound appears to be working. See the connection. Okay, that's good. Give myself, adjusting my headroom. Again, I never like to have excessive headroom. Yeah, this looks good. I might let a little bit more. Let's see. I'm trying to see whether I need to let a little bit more sun in. I don't think so. I think I'm good here. Let's move this a little this way. Put me in the middle. Okay. All right, looks good. Got everything set up. I'm a little early, 10 minutes. So I'm just gonna let this roll. I'm gonna start right at noon. Get everybody time to come on and join me. So we're gonna go live at noon. Bring this up some. Don't want too much sun coming in. We'll be going live at noon. Have about 10 minutes. Oh, let's open up Studio, make sure that's working. Let's get rid of that. Okay, great. So I have my live stream going. Usually start a little bit early so that I can make sure I'm here on time to meet you guys. Let me move back out of frame while I prepare myself. Let's see. Okay. Could let a little bit more light in. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's good. A little bit more is good. Don't want to go too bright and get washed out. Okay, so that's good. All right, that's good. So I'm live streaming here. Okay. Getting close. Oh. All right, about 6 minutes. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. And again, I'll start with a little intro about why I'm back here on YouTube. That's a nice shot. Put a nice shot in the background. It's pretty nice. Okay, I have 5 minutes before I start. Let's come a little closer. That headroom is okay. I'm always up to headroom. Yeah, there we go. That's what I should have. Hello, thanks for stopping by. I'm going to start right at noon. I have about, 3 or 4 minutes? Oh, no. About 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and we'll get started right away. Thanks for stopping by. Jamesadamtucker. That's a Sunday Live. I'm here to answer questions and answers about acting, directing, and editing. So if you have a project you're working on, I love to answer some questions about it. I have been doing this for a long time. And as you can see on my site, if you've been to my site, you'll see that I have a lot of experience, over 35 years experience working in this business. And I've distributed a number of independent feature films, somewhere near 25 independent feature films. I've directed, edited, got them distributed, some with larger distributors than others, and enjoy working in this field, enjoy answering questions. I also have been teaching in this field for a while too. So that's why I thought YouTube was a great opportunity for me to get back into teaching, sharing my knowledge that I've gained over all these years, and building up this channel. So I'm going to take a look at my timetable. I have to start right on time. I've got about 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and I will get started. Everything looks good. And today I have which I'm happy to have, I have my YouTube studio open. So I'll have an easier time seeing the questions that people ask, and I can answer them easier. I can see them here on the left. I'm trying to see if there's another way to open that up a little bit wider. Let's see here. Oh, there is a way to pop out the chat, but I won't do that right now. What if I did do it? Oh. I could actually make it even a little bit bigger. Oh, that's nice. So if I pop out the chat, I can put it down here myself, and I can make it even bigger, which is good. Or I could put it up here, actually. View duration. I actually don't need to. If I make this chat bigger, and that's good. I can see that. I'm just gonna get rid of this. I guess that's some kind of reminder.
pop out that chat. So that's good. I popped out the chat so I can see it even better. It's hard to see the chat when it appears at the bottom of the screen of my phone, and I'd rather see it here. That way, if you guys have any questions, I can see them better. Okay, about 1 minute, and I'm going to start right on time. There we go. Here we go. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining me, James Adam Tucker. This is Sunday Live Q&A, question and answer. I'm here to answer any questions you guys may have about acting, directing, and editing. Now, I'm a long-time filmmaker, been doing this for over 35 years. Went to college in Maryland at a small state school called Morgan State University. And that's where I learned my video production skills, started editing there. That's also where I realized that I had a love for acting. I have a funny story that I tell, and I think I'll tell that story right now. They had an orientation. It was a summer orientation at Morgan State University. And I was in the television communications lab because I think I already knew. Well, no, I didn't. I was going on a tour, and they took us on a tour of the telecommunications lab. And I had, when I was younger, been discovered actually by a talent agent. I was probably about 12 or 13. I was at my aunt's house with my cousin, and I had spent the night. We went to a supermarket, and I had on this jacket that I had gotten from my aunt and a pair of jeans. It was a fitted kind of velour jacket. It was actually my aunt's jacket, and I liked it, so I wore it. And I got discovered at a supermarket in Rumson, New Jersey. And the talent agency was, I think it was Serendipity. Yeah, Serendipity. And the agent came over. She asked me if I had ever considered acting. And I said, no, I had never thought about it. She gave me her card. And so I took that card, and when I went home, I showed it to my mother. So my mother contacted her, talked to her, and we drove up there the next week. We made an appointment to have some photo session done of me. She gave us a photographer to go to. We went to the photographer, and I think she picked up the charge for the photographer, the man agent. And so back then, I wasn't too, I didn't know anything about acting. I didn't know anything about the entertainment business as far as that goes. I was 12 or 13. And so they took pictures of me, and I still have the photos from the photo shoot. And so the agent wanted to represent me for commercials. We're going to start out on commercials. It was the time, I don't know, you guys are probably really young, most everyone watching. And Rodney Allen Rippey was a black young kid actor. And she thought that I could surpass him. And when I look back at the pictures, yeah, I blow my own horn. Yeah, I was a good looking little kid, and I could have got some success in the commercial business. But then I did something to make my mother mad. My mother had a lot of issues, and I did something to make her mad, and she wouldn't let me go back to the casting, to the agent who had discovered me. She said that I was, getting too big for myself, some bull. But, even now, over 50 years later, almost 50 years later, I still think that was my big chance. That would have been a life-changing thing for me if I had a different mother. So, but you can't, that's water under the bridge, I'm not going to go down that path. I have some videos on my website if you want to go look at them about my growing up in a small town called Union. And there was a section of Union called Vauxhall, and that's where we lived. Nice neighborhood, middle-class neighborhood, nice homes. We had as far as with my friends and the community I lived in, ideal. It was inside the home where there were problems. But I'm not here to talk about that today. We are going to talk more about acting, directing, and editing. Because after that, and I went to college, I went on to pursue the entertainment business. I started out in college in the television department, and I really took a liking to that. Originally, I went to college to study to become a physical therapist. But once I went on that tour and I saw the television production lab, and back to the tour, my story about the tour, I got sidetracked. You'll notice a lot of times I will get sidetracked. It's funny because I try to stick to the story. And actually, I have some notes up here on my monitor that helps me stay focused on what I want to talk about. I have a long list of stuff. Today, I'm going to talk about focus on beginning actors. But anyway, back to my story about college. What really led me down this path of acting was that we went on this tour and we were in the communications department. And so the tour guy said, would anybody like to come up on stage and get in front of the cameras? So something made me do it. I jumped up there and I did my Mr. T impersonation. Hey, fool, I pity the fool. Anybody try to take something away from me, it's going to go down. Balboa? Boy, I haven't done that in years. Balboa, you're dead. And I did my Mr. T impersonation, which was better when I'm not coughing. But everybody started laughing. And it hit me. I loved it. I loved the attention. I loved the spotlight. And I decided right then and there that this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to get into the television department. So I joined the television department, and that was the beginning of everything. I joined the television department, started learning how to edit, shoot, write scripts, everything about television. I just absorbed it. I absorbed it. I absorbed it. I loved it. That 4 years in college, I think, was up until that point, truthfully, up until that point, that was the best part of my life up until that point. And this was in the 80s. I started college in 1983. I started the program at Morgan State University in Baltimore. And Baltimore was a dangerous place. It's much more dangerous now. But I really enjoyed, I spent most of my time on campus. 1 year, I think it was the second year, I did move off campus, probably about to some community housing, a real apartment, and mistake. I should have stayed on campus my whole 4 years. But my apartment got broken into and a lot of my stuff got stolen. And so moving off campus was a big mistake. But I moved back into the dorm, and I became a resident assistant at the dorm. And what I did in the television department was I created a lot of small films. One of my very first small film was just myself. I played a double role where I would come into the room. It was funny. I still have that video, I think. I might post it here on YouTube if I could dig it out one day. But I played a double role in that. And then I did my second short film that was my second short. No. My second short film was a film I had started shooting in the dorm. There were two twins in the college, and they were freshmen also, just like me. And I recruited them, and I wrote a script about them. And we were going to make we started shooting it. We were going to make a short film that took place in the dorms at college. And so we started shooting, and we shot a few scenes, but they both appeared to be not that reliable. Initially, they were interested, but then they didn't show up regularly, and some of the other actors didn't show up, and some actors showed up, so I had to switch parts, and ultimately it just kind of fizzled out. So that was my second short film. And then my third short film was a film I shot in the television lab. I built a little set, and it was called Greasy Blues, and it was about a diner, a waitress in a diner, and two criminals staking out a bank across the street that they wanted to rob, and they were doing some surveillance. But so that went good. I completed that. I had two actors. They were students, but they were already in the theater department. And I think they were the ones that introduced me to the theater department. So that's when, once I decided to have theater as an unofficial minor, let me grab a drink of water real quick. Once I decided to have theater as an unofficial minor, then I really got into acting. I think after that, I got my headshots. The very first stage performance I did was a version of Medea, the Greek play, where the woman breaks up with a husband, the boyfriend or the husband. yeah, the husband breaks up with his wife. A classic tragedy, Greek tragedy, was rewritten, and we put it on at the college, Morgan State University. And so that was my first stage performance. I got a funny story about that. I might as well tell that too while I'm here. My very first play, I had learned all the lines, did a bunch of rehearsals, and that was great because I hadn't been in a stage performance. And they have this great little theater on campus, great little round stage, kind of like a community theater, really good seating. I think it had seats for about 99 people. So it was a good sized theater, very well kept, very professional. And it was a joy to rehearse. And I worked with the theater department director, and we rehearsed the play, had other actors and actresses in it, obviously. And so I think it was the opening night. We were on stage, we were doing the show. And one of the funniest things that happened to me in my career as an actor was I'm on stage, I'm doing this really big monologue, and I'm really into it because, you know, this is my first stage performance. And all of a sudden I hear snoring from the front row. So I looked down, and there was this woman in the front row. She had came to see the play, and she was stone cold sleep. Her head was back like this, and she was snoring. I mean, like snoring, like comic snoring. And so it pulled me out of character for a moment, but then I was able to focus and go back into character and continue the monologue. So that was one funny story from the play. And another time, I think one of my fellow actors, who was also a professor of theater, she was playing Medea, and she dropped the line. And I wasn't sure, and we stood there for a good amount of time because I couldn't realize if I had dropped the line or she had dropped the line. And then, you know, we stood there. It seemed like an eternity, but it was probably only like 2 minutes. And 2 minutes seemed like 20 minutes when you're on stage and you have an audience watching you and nobody's saying anything. It was just me and her. And I couldn't think of what to say. So I don't know. I still don't know to this day. And that was what, 35 years ago. I still don't know to this day whether I had dropped the line or she had dropped the line. But then I realized she wasn't going to say anything. So I thought it was me. And then I made up some improv, and that got her back online. And so we continued on with the show. But those are the kind of things that you learn as a stage actor. And that's why a lot of actors who start on the stage, because the stage gives you a firm, strong background to lean on. Now, film acting and stage acting are totally different. And I'm not just talking about how you project or how you broad it is. That's another topic too. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the way that actors can live truthfully under these imaginary circumstances when you're on stage. And it's something I really miss. I haven't done any stage acting in years, and I always look on the breakdowns for a play. I live out here in California, Los Angeles area, and so I'm always looking for a potential play that I can get into because I do miss it. I haven't been in a play in years, and I have a lot of work to do. I have my business, which is video production business. I do a lot of website program manager. I'm a program manager for a city in Georgia, and I manage their website and social media content and all that. So I have a lot of work. I edit independent projects. I have right now, as a matter of fact, I have 3 projects I'm working on. Like one right here behind me is one that after I finish talking to you guys, I'm going to get back on and try to finish up today. Well, I won't finish it today, but I'm going to do some more work on it today. And then I have 2 more right behind that are coming up. So I have a lot of work to do, but I would still love to get back on stage. And that's why sometimes you even see big actors, name actors who are, A-list actors. Sometimes they go and do the theater because it refreshes you. It gives you that feeling that you had, that youthful feeling when you were on the stage. And those imaginary circumstances feel real because there's no way to cut. There's no way to stop and say, okay, give me a moment. Let's restart this scene again. When you're on stage, you're in the scene, you have an audience there, you have to keep going. Sometimes you have to improvise. If you make a mistake, you drop a line or someone else drops a line, you try to think of a way to improvise to get them back on track or get yourself back on track. And that's the beauty of it. It's like being real, like I'm talking to you right now. I don't have any scripted lines. I'm here to answer your questions with my answers. And so as they come up, I will be doing that. But I don't have any scripted lines, and I enjoy this. I think this is probably the closest I have to being back on stage again. And that's one of the reasons I'm like all in here on YouTube. Because of this, I decided that I wanted to start going live on Sundays and doing question and answers from my edit bay here. And so I did it. It wasn't like I had to convince anybody. It wasn't like I had to write a proposal or put up a prospectus and show how much money I would make by doing this live Q&A show. I could just come on here, talk to you guys, answer questions, and enjoy it. Because I actually do enjoy talking about this topic, these topics. I like being involved with independent films. I like being involved with shorts. I like being involved with features. I like editing big budget projects, low budget projects. So it's something that I do enjoy. And I got to say that people who can work and get paid to do something that they really enjoy are privileged. And I do feel privileged. I do feel privileged. I'm not rich or anything like that, but I'm able to take care of my bills, live in a nice house. I have a family, daughter, wife. We have a couple of used cars. So I'm able to have a good life. I still go out on auditions. As a matter of fact, I'll talk about that for a little bit right now. I went out last week. Well, I didn't actually go out, but I was called in by my manager and my agent to do 2 union auditions. Now, one was for a feature film, and I'm not supposed to talk about the details of it, but it's a feature film that recognizable director probably would have ended up getting a limited theatrical release because it's a part 2 or a part 3 of a film that this director continues to make. And it was a good role. It was a good role. And the truth of it is, I fit the role well. The character is my type of person. Black male, my age, over 50s, more on the professor type, fits me perfectly. Those are the kind of roles I always play. Police officer, detective, professor, lawyer, doctor, therapist. Those are the roles that I am cast in. Those are the roles that fit me. Those are the roles that fit my character type. So this role was a good fit for me. When I downloaded the sides, and just for you actors out there who are new, the sides are part of the script that the casting director wants you to read so that they can decide whether you are right for the role. So when I downloaded the sides, I'm always nervous because you never know what you're going to get. You read the breakdown about the film, and the film seems interesting. The role description, because the breakdowns give a description of the film. They say who the director, producer, who the casting director is, who are some of the recognizable name actors, who the writer was. So they give you a whole bunch of background information. So as you read it, you start getting excited because you realize, oh, this is a pretty good size project for me. And then you download the sides, and there might be something in there that you don't want to play, or you don't want to do. But this one was perfect. It was a good fit for me. And so I worked on the lines. It was a rush job too. Sometimes, and to be honest, I do like it when it's a rush job because it forces me to focus. It forces me to focus on the role, develop the character, learn the lines, and then do the audition and get it in as soon as possible. So this was a rush job. So I did the work, stayed up, worked on the dialogue, worked on the character, thought about, what the character's motivation was for each scene, who he is. And the great thing about it is when you're lucky enough to get called in for a role that fits who you really are, then you can just take elements from the character and blend those in with elements from your real life. And so I was able to do that, which makes it even easier that from an actor's point of view. I have a call coming in right now. Let me try to silence this. I'm going to keep talking to you guys. Yeah, so I was able to work on that audition, got it out there, and yeah, it went well. And then I had another one right before that was okay. It was no really big deal. It was a union, SAG, which is the Screen Actors Guild, short film, and it was a lead role in a short film. So I haven't done that in a while either. So both of those, I got both of those out there, and this was like over a week ago. And most of the time, when you turn in a project, especially you turn in a self-tape, and especially when it's a rush job, you'll hear something relatively quickly if they like you. And unfortunately, I didn't hear anything. So that's just part of the business. That's the hard part of the business as a new actor. Now, this what I'm about to say now is geared towards new actors. And I've said this in many of my videos, and I'm going to always say it because it's something you need to learn. You're going to deal with a lot of rejection. Rejection is part of this business as an actor. If anybody's watching this who is not involved in any part of the entertainment business, especially acting, then when you go on, imagine going on a job interview, maybe like 4 or 5 job interviews a week, and you don't get any of them. So that's the life of an actor. And actors who become successful, they get to the point where there's something called offer only, where they don't have to audition anymore. A lot, big ones don't have to audition anymore because they have a body of work that speaks for them. If a director or producer wants them, then they know what they're going to get. They know why they're paying the high salaries. They know why they're targeting this particular actor because they like what this actor does. So that's out of the realm of me. I'm more of a character actor. And character actors usually always audition for their roles unless you've worked with the producer or the director in the past. And that's happened to me sometimes. I've been called in a number of times for people that I've worked with in the past, and they want me to do the role, or they had me in mind when they read the script. So that's a lucky position to be in. And it is very rare for me, but that it has happened over the years. So it's not unheard of for me, but it's a rarity. But actors who work all the time and are recognizable faces, they very rarely audition because whoever's doing the project is familiar with their talent, familiar with their background, familiar with their history, and they have them in mind. They probably have a couple of actors in mind, and they may offer them the script, and then some people turn it down, and then ultimately it goes down the food chain of who decides to accept the role or who turns the role down. But back to me on the character actor level. So you have to be able to deal with rejection. It's inevitable. And when I first started, it was hard because I grew up, as far as that goes, being privileged. Almost every job I went for, and this was just regular jobs, but every job I went for, I got. And so I thought the same thing was going to happen in the acting world. And actually, at the beginning, it did. One of my very first films that I auditioned for was John Waters' original Hairspray. And I was able to get cast in a role in that. And that's how I got my Screen Actors Guild card. So I was off to the races. And that made me think that my winning streak, as far as being hired, was going to always continue. And when I came out here to Los Angeles, I was lucky enough to meet an actor who referred me to his agent. She liked me. She took me on, and I started going out on auditions. Now, that was years ago, late, almost at the end of the 80s. And I can't remember how soon it was before I booked my first job. I booked a job. It was a job for a show called Superior Court. And it was a fake court show. It was a fake reality show. And everybody were actors, but we were reenacting real court issues. And then it went on, as the future went on, they started doing real reality shows. But at the beginning, they were all the reality shows were fake at the beginning. And one of the ones I was on was Superior Court. I played a Nigerian Nigerian student who had married an American person, and they thought it was so that he could stay in America, but no, he had fell in love with a woman, and it was a pretty good little half-hour story. And I was the lead character, so I was off to the races. I was off to the races when I first got out here, and I continued. I booked a role on Hunter, the old television show Hunter, and it was a pretty good role at the beginning. Small role, character role at the beginning of the episode. And Hunter and Dee Dee came into his apartment and ended up shooting him. So all that stuff is online. If you go to my website, you can find links to my work, and you can look at some of my old samples. I did a lot early on, and then as time went on, I still worked, and I still work up to this day. You know, I've been continue to work as a character actor, and I'm happy with it. My goal was to, obviously, like every other new actor, was to become a consistent daily working actor. That never materialized for me, but that's another reason why I'm here, where I talk about acting, because I've taught acting to youth, high school, middle school, adults, even on the college level, and even on the adult school level. So I've taught acting at a lot of different places. I've taught digital video filmmaking at a lot of different places, and editing. I've even taught editing. So I have that extensive background of teaching, and I love it. The only time I had a bad experience teaching, I think I was teaching at let me grab a sip of water real quick. Okay, excuse me. So what I was talking about was my only bad experience teaching. That was at a program, ROP program out here in California. That's like an occupational program for high school students. And I was hired in a job and did everything I had to do. I even had to get certification from the University of San Diego. I went through the program. I got all my certification to teach in the ROP program, Principles of Adult Education, a certificate, and then program from the University of San Diego. And so I had all my paperwork and everything, and it was great at the beginning. So I had a nice classroom. I was the one who helped them decide what equipment to buy, and they put the requisition in, and we got all the equipment that we needed. We had 2 full editing setups. At that time, it wasn't nonlinear editing. It was still at the stages of deck to deck. And even if nonlinear editing was starting, I had recommended that it was still at the very beginning of nonlinear editing. So it wasn't ready to start trying to teach students, because then you had 2 hurdles to make them computer literate, which computers were really still kind of in the new area. And so what we did was we bought 4 Panasonic editing decks, edit controller, monitors, had a nice little setup, cameras, lights, sound, boom poles, all the stuff we needed to do productions. And the class started off well, teaching students, everything they needed to know, developing your idea, writing a summary, writing a log line, coming up with little scripts. And we just kept everything small and simple. And so everything was going good. And it went probably like 6 months before any problems started. But then what started to happen, and I guess this happens in high school, they started putting students into my class that weren't interested in video production, students that were troubled, students that were kicked out of other classes. And so my program became kind of like a dumping ground where they would put students who, they didn't have any other place to put them. And that really hurt. It really hurt the other students. It hurt my ability to teach effectively. And I think that was one of the times after that, I decided that, high school wasn't the way for me to go. I'm more of a teacher that's effective when I'm teaching people who are interested in what you have to offer. So that's why I'm here on YouTube. And that's one of the reasons I decided about 8 months ago was to go all in on YouTube, sharing my knowledge here, building up my channel, and continuing to offer the education that I can make available to people through this platform. And if you go to my site, you'll see down there, Unedited with James Adam Tucker, you'll see a lot of educational stuff about acting, directing, and editing. And that's why I love doing these lives right here on Sundays, so that I can answer any questions that you guys may have. And if you don't want to answer questions, live, please feel free to send me my email. I made my email available there, so you can shoot me an email. I can answer questions. I love the help. I do consulting also, so look at that if you want to get more elaborate. I'm hired out as a consultant. I do that a lot. I work with people who are developing films. I work with people who are setting up their own YouTube channel. Most recently, I helped a young man who was a physical therapist, and he wanted to go into YouTube to expand his client base by doing free lessons, and then converting those clients, converting the free people to paying clients that he would help. So I helped him decide what cameras to buy, what lights to buy, how to set it up, the whole 9 yards. So that's the kind of stuff that I do. I help people with YouTube. I help people who are doing independent short films. I even work with people who are doing feature films. Not too long ago, about 3 months ago, I just wrapped a short film that's basically a fundraising device, proof of concept, we call it, for an actress who lives here in Los Angeles. And we were putting a pilot together for her. And we're going to use that proof of concept pilot to raise money. So that came out really well. I'm proud of that. And I will be showing some of that as soon as, we get to the stage of what we're going to do with it, as far as how to use it to raise money. So that's another thing that I do. I work with people who have all types of projects, and I give advice. It doesn't have to be on the set. It can just be, phone call. We can sit down and work in person at a coffee shop and talk. So I work with people on an hourly basis. So that's something else that I offer. If you're interested in something like that, please check out my channel, and you can see all the information about how to get in touch with me. I'm easy to get in touch with. You can look up my background at the Internet Movie Database. Look for James Adam Tucker. You can just do a Google search, and I'll come right up, or go directly to the Internet Movie Database, IMDb, and search for James Adam Tucker, and you'll see my acting background. You'll see my directing background, my editing background. I've even written some scripts, but most of the scripts I've written were scripts that I planned to produce. And some of those scripts have been written years ago. One of my goals here on YouTube is to turn some of those scripts into series, YouTube exclusive content. That's what I'm planning to do. That's my goal that I'm on. And I'm planning to do more humorous content, because that's what I'm drawn to. Most of the time as an actor, I play serious characters, lawyers, doctors, preachers, police officers, police chief. And so, hello, Thomas. Hello, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Welcome to the chat. If you have any questions, that's why I'm here. I'm here to answer any questions about acting, directing, or editing. So if you have a question, please type it on down and I'll jump right on it. Right now, I'm just talking about what I do here on YouTube. And but the main goal here is to answer questions. So I have my YouTube studio open right here. That's why I was able to see Thomas's name really quick. Hello. And I was able to see that he typed his name in. I'm talking about creating video. My area of topic is acting, directing, and editing. I've been doing it for the past 35 years. I've sold and distributed over 25 independent feature films. I'm a union actor. My name is James Adam Tucker, and you can look me up on the Internet Movie Database to verify my background and see some of the work that I've done. And I'm here on YouTube. I've been on YouTube for a long time, about 18 years. So I was one of the early adopters once YouTube was bought and became into the press. And but the thing that I did with YouTube was I only used it as a portfolio to show my work. Thank you so much, Thomas. Thank you. Thank you. Thomas didn't have a question, but thank you so much. I hope you succeed. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm here to answer questions. If anybody has any questions about acting, directing, or editing, that's what I do on Sundays. Sundays, I jump on. I've been here, started right at noon. I started a little bit earlier, actually. I try to start a little bit early to make sure I don't have any technical issues. Today, I did have a little technical issue. So starting early, I was able to go in and solve the little technical issue that I have getting my stream up. And the reason I stream, I like to stream like this on my phone, but I also have, I can pivot a little bit. I also have YouTube Studio, as you can see. I have YouTube Studio open. So the reason I do that is because that way I can see the comments better. Oh, here's a good question from Thomas. How can I start acting? Well, what I always recommend is that you start studying. One great thing here about YouTube, there's countless videos about how to begin as an actor. So you could look at some of those. But what I really recommend is there are tons of really good books that you can get on Amazon, used books about acting, beginning actors, different, like The Method, books about method acting, books about beginning acting. That's one video that I plan to produce soon, Thomas, is a video and about my favorite acting books. You know what, Thomas? Hold on one second. Let me grab this book from over here. I'm right near my shelf. I'll be right there. I want to grab this. Oh, yeah, here it is right here. This is actually one of the first books. This is actually one of the first books I read when I began acting. Oh, you can't see it this way, but it's called Acting for the Camera by Tony Barr. I know it's in reverse, but it's called Acting for the Camera by Tony Barr. And this book really helped me when I was starting out. Like you're asking me now, how can you begin acting? You pick this book up on Amazon, Acting for the Camera by Tony Barr. I know it's in reverse, sorry, but this will give you an idea of what it looks like. Acting for the Camera by Tony Barr. Go on Amazon, and you can probably get this book for under $5. And it has everything you need to get started. That was one of the first books I read on acting. It talks about how to begin. It talks about how to get a headshot, how to get a resume, how to look for an agent, how to look for a manager, what to study, how to find people to study with. So that's one of the great books that I recommend you read if you're interested in getting involved in acting. So what I'm going to do too, I've been planning on putting together some videos, and you can check back on my channel. And actually, I'm glad you asked me that question, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a point to do a video this coming week and talk about some of the best books for beginning actors to read. And I'm a strong believer. I know there's a lot of stuff here on the internet. There's a lot of stuff here on YouTube. And I say, look at that. But I also think reading these books, even though these books are old, they have the basic stuff, because that's what I try to tell people. Even when I teach my classes, I tell people that you want to know the basics. You want to know the basics, because getting started is the same now as it was 40 years ago. So, you know, you're going to need a headshot. You're going to need a resume. You're going to need to study. I know a lot of new actors think they don't have to study. They may have some charisma. They may have, they may have done some plays. And you're going to have to do work for free. You're going to have to work on independent projects. You're going to have to work on student films. And one thing that I always say too, the beauty of this technology that we have now, you can take your cell phone once you learn the basics and get a couple of friends together who may be interested in acting or film production, and you guys can just start shooting stuff. It doesn't have to go on YouTube. It's just for you to learn. That's the best way to learn. To learn to act is to start doing it. Learn lines. Don't just do improv. You want to start with the whole process. Improv is good too, but I would say first, write a little script, even if it's just a summary script, 1 or 2 pages. Learn the dialogue, get another actor or actress, and you guys do the scenes. You could pick up a play. You don't even have to write it. You could pick up a play. That's another thing that this book talks about. Tony Barr, Acting for the Camera. Find it on Amazon. Get it used. I know they still probably have new copies. It's probably back in print again, but you can get a used copy for under $5. But that's one of the best books I would say to read first. And again, start learning everything you can. Watch videos on the internet. Watch videos here on YouTube, and then just start going forward. But you got to study. Thank you. He said he likes how I explain things. Yeah, I try to explain them nice and simple. I like to give this information out because I'm building my channel. And my channel, what I want to do is I want to work with a lot of new actors because I want to create original YouTube content. More like what YouTube used to be when it first started out, where people would do more skits, people would do more humor, people would do drama, people would be really much more creative. I know there's a lot of that still going on, but that's what I want to try to have a resurgence in. And I think even YouTube itself wants to do that. Right now, we're kind of in a multi-level marketing world of YouTube that I don't like, where everyone's trying to tell or sell content to people about how to make it on YouTube. YouTube is, I think the beauty of it when it first came out was that it was people getting on and just making stuff. Before we got into the monetization stuff, people were sharing content, people were making interesting content. And that's what I think we should get back to. I mean, you still could have channels, you could have multiple channels. That's the beauty of it too. So if you want to have a channel where you're trying to sell something, yeah, you can do that. But I still think people should focus on making creative, entertaining content. And that's what I want to do. I want to try to combine, my skills of acting, directing, and editing, use those skills here on YouTube, but make entertaining, humorous related content. That's my focus. That's my focus. And I wish more people would join me. And they probably will, because I think YouTube is leaning more towards that. They're hoping that it goes that way. I think they've been shying away from a lot of the political crap. We can get that stuff everywhere. You get commercials everywhere. We get commercials here on YouTube, but that's what funds us. And I'm not against those, obviously. But what I shy away from is so many content creators just trying to sell other new content creators on how they made it. Oh, you can make $100,000 a month. Oh, you can make $12 a minute. Nonsense. But I enjoy YouTube. I'm going to come on here and do more creative stuff like they used to do. And I hope to see more people doing that too. My information that I'm giving away about acting, directing, and editing is free. I'm using that free content to help educate people and actually bring people to my channel. So I will keep doing that, and I will always do that. I'm not trying to sell you any kind of stuff like that. I talk about myself being a consultant, and if you need personalized help with acting, directing, or editing, I offer that service, but I'm not trying to sell any lessons or teach you how to get on YouTube and be successful. No, I don't, I'm not downing any people because I know a lot of people make money doing that. I just think there's too many people doing it. That's not what this platform is for, to try and sell the skill of getting on here and trying to make money. But, I can't tell people what to do. And I just want to see, and I hope people follow my example and make more creative content. I love the educational stuff because I watch it all the time. A lot of times when I don't have anything to watch at night, I'll jump on YouTube and I'll look for small documentaries. I'll look for stories about things that I don't know. And that's the beautiful thing about the artificial intelligence here on YouTube. Whatever you start looking at a lot, they start sending you more of it. And so that's how it works. That's how your videos get discovered. So the more educational stuff, short little documentaries that I look at, the more start coming to me. So I like that. It tries the artificial intelligence tries to find out what you're interested in and sends you that. So even my videos are talking about acting, directing, and editing. So if you're interested in that, my videos are going to be coming to you. And then within there, I have my humor. And my humor is short films and short skits and stuff like that. So directly related to what I do, stuff that I've directed or stuff that I've edited or, stuff that I was in. So that's the beauty of it for me. That's my advantage, I think, being in this business for so long and being a part of YouTube for so long. I'm a natural fit if I must say so myself, for creating content. And that's my goal, to continue to create content. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to about wrap up now. I have some editing to do. And I'd like to thank you, Thomas, for stopping by. And I was able to answer your question. And yeah, I'm going to do some more information about how to get started, because a lot of people do ask me that. And a lot of people watch my videos about new actors. So I've been leaning more into that. I'm going to continue to lean more into that because that's what people seem to like a lot. So thanks a lot. I will be back again next Sunday to answer your questions about acting, directing, or editing. Please take a moment and look at some of my content. Go to my channel and watch some of my playlists. That's going to really help me. You watch some of my content. I have a bunch of stuff up there. I've been creating content, and I'm going to continue to create content. And what I'm doing is I'm dividing it into playlists, so it's easier for you to find. You don't have to fish through everything. So check out my playlist, see if there's anything that you like. I'm going to be starting to, hopefully if everything goes smooth, I'm going to be starting to create some original music-related content where I let artists showcase their work. And, you know, I'll be directing it and editing it. So it still fits into my category. And I'll be explaining how I directed and how I edited it. So I'll be using some of their content to entertain you and also teach you about editing and also teach you about producing and also teach you about directing. So just a win-win-win-win-win for me. And hopefully if you can learn something that you're interested in, a win-win-win-win-win for you. So again, thanks for stopping by today. I'll see you again next Sunday. My goal is to be here every Sunday at noon, Pacific time, LA time, California time, whatever you want to call it, to deliver my content to you guys. And thanks again to Thomas for asking me that question. Gave me the ability to start talking about how to get started as an actor. And if you missed it, you can watch the rerun of this or go to look on my channel and you'll see a lot of videos about getting into the acting business and what it's like to be in the acting business and the good part and the bad part. So I talk about both. I don't just talk about whatever's good or whatever went great or how successful I am. I talk about mistakes I've made so you don't have to make those mistakes. That's why I call my channel unedited, because I try to say things that people normally don't talk about. They'll talk about all the good stuff and try to make everything in their life look like it's shiny and brand new and polished. No, life is real. There's good and bad, and that's what I talk about. And hopefully my lessons of the bad stuff I went through will help you avoid those or minimize it. So I'll see you again next Sunday. Thanks for coming by.